Says going live. We are live right now. We're live. Hi, everyone. This is Tina, and I am here with my good friend and soon to be roomie at an upcoming event, Katie Brill. Today, we want to talk to you about the foundation of freedom, finding and moving towards your vision. You know, so many people, a lot of people have vision, whether they're daydreaming or not. You know, you have vision of what kind of house you want to live in, what kind of car you want to drive, maybe countries that you might want to visit. But the important thing is that you take action and move towards your vision. Now, I also said a lot of people because there are some people who think, you know, life is what it is and I'm never going to have any better. So they don't have a vision. They just don't have vision. So you have to have vision, but important, you have to take action to move towards the vision. You know, for me personally, a little bit about me, I started working at a very young age when I was a teenager, and, you know, I thought it was great. I was 16 years old, working in the heart of Midtown, $10 an hour, I was rich. You know, at 16 back then, that was making a lot of money, so you couldn't tell me anything. But at the same time, once I started moving myself through corporate America, you know, I started seeing that there was no way their way was going to get me to what my vision was. So along the way, you know, got married, had a few children, and I encountered my first real, what I feel my first real step starting building a foundation in moving towards my vision. I encountered my first and got involved with a weight loss and nutrition company, and it was good. You know, I got out, I was putting out my posters, putting out my flyers, you know, getting customers here and there, and it was going great. Well, lo and behold, thanks to all of that fabulous nutrition that my body was getting, I ended up having my third child, and that not instantly but along the way slowed down the focus that I had with the business part of it. But at the same time, the vision never changed. That always remained the same, and I knew that working for someone else would never get me to the vision, first and foremost because I knew that they didn't value me for what I was truly worth, and the only way that I was really going to have that would be to work for myself. So as I said, I started, you know, the health and nutrition, that went well, had another child, slowed down, but it was in December of 2010 that I reinstilled that vision because I found myself homeless. Nothing wrong on my part, but unbeknownst to me, the house that I was renting was sold at foreclosure. So when the new owners came knocking with the marshal, I had to go. You know, and it was a very rough period because my middle daughter was at that time in college and living on campus, so I found myself waking up on the floor of her college dorm on Christmas morning. That time for me was, you know, a period where I felt was the lowest point of my life of all time. You know, but I have a tendency to talk to myself, so I went through, of course, you know, the crying, the why me, the how could this happen, how could they do that to me, but in the end, it was, okay, suck it up, we've had some hard times, you know, I had just recently gotten out of a very bad and violent relationship, so I survived through that, and I kept telling myself, this is just another hurdle, it's just another challenge, and we're going to get past this too. So I went out one night, walking around the campus, you know, not too far so I wouldn't get lost. You know, their campus was so big, so I did stay close. But, you know, it was a matter of, you know, by the time the new year rolled around, you know, I had regained my own confidence and got through this is not your fault. And I got ourselves settled in another place and, you know, started rolling along again. So it was at that time that a neighbor that I was living next to introduced me to another weight loss and nutrition company. So again, as I said, my vision never changed, and now I had even more reason why I needed to have a fallback and depend on me to make sure that I would never find myself in that position again, because at that point, that's when I made a decision, never, ever, ever would I be in that position again, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to guarantee that. So anyway, you know, I got involved with that company, and it was fabulous because that was the first time that I actually attended a company event And it was a company event where Katie and I met. You really get into the events, you meet some fabulous people, you develop lifelong relationships. Katie is one of those, and as I said, we'll soon be roomies at an upcoming event. But what I learned more importantly after moving away from that company, because initially, I thought that well, this is not really working. I don't understand why. This company is not this. This company is not that. But it was when I encountered the company that we are currently involved with that I discovered the answer really is me. It's not about the company, but it's about taking the action necessary that it takes to get you to where your vision and what your goals that you have set for yourself. So once I started focusing, because I know a lot of people also tend to try and juggle different things because they feel like, okay, this one is not working, or they have in their minds, well, I need to have multiple streams of income. But if you're bouncing around and you're trying to concentrate on, doing this thing and doing that thing and doing 3 or 4 things at one time, your focus really isn't where it needs to be. And now I'm more of a mindset of, okay, focus on one thing, build one empire, and then you move on and you build the next empire. So, I have always kept what my vision is in front of me and taking the action necessary to get to that vision, and everything starts with a foundation. So for me, my foundation was my first encounter with working from home and building my own business. And it's moved forward from there. There may have been, a couple of gaps here and there, where I not took time off, but I just didn't focus on it. And, with a new baby, I'm pretty sure any of you who have children, it's not so easy to really focus on this, especially when they're first born, because, there's 3 a.m. feedings, so you don't have time to really move into other things, concentrate, because you have to build and make sure your family is okay. And that's another reason why, my vision is what it is, because, my children are very important to me. And I also want to build a foundation that will be a destiny that I'll leave for them. So that's a little bit about me. And Katie, as you know, I can just talk and go on and on and on, but I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can share a little bit of your story with everyone. And I'm just going to mute myself out here. So take it over. It's all yours, Katie.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Fine. I hear you good.
Yeah, my story, actually, I didn't ever know you were homeless. I learned something new about you today. My story is kind of similar in a way. I was a college graduate though, and I started my own in-home business as in public relations, which was a big flop because I really had no experience, and I had 2 young kids at home too. I made a choice to be a stay-at-home mom, and in that process, I became a kitchen consultant for a very reputable company that is still out there today, and I enjoyed what I did a lot. I was able to build a team and become a director and attended leadership conferences, did the conventions, and earned vacations, and really had a good time. But when my youngest was getting ready to graduate from high school, I actually was doing the kitchen show thing, and I was a fitness trainer at the YMCA, so I could have a free membership. And I decided that, I really didn't know if that's what I wanted to continue doing. After 9/11, for some reason, that kind of went downhill, and I began looking at other alternatives. My husband had been in his own business and wanted me to have a job where we could get benefits. So I started working at a local hospital and went back to school to become a physical therapist assistant. And when that happened, I really just stopped doing my own business, my marketing business with the kitchen company. And that was a game changer. I got the benefits, I got income, I graduated, I started, blah, blah, blah. Well, now I'm divorced, and then I lost my job, and I met Tina last October. We had a great time in DC, and there just comes a time in life when I realized, I really enjoy my work as a physical therapist assistant. I have no qualms with that. My qualm is that I have to show up there every day, 9 to 5, if I have a job, and that is not where my heart is. My vision, my vision is one where I'm going to be going to Bible school shortly, and I want to be able to do short-term mission trips for longer periods of time, like a month or 3 months or something like that. And that is where my heart is at. And doing the work that I do, which I enjoy doing when I'm employed, um, doesn't allow me to do that. It doesn't. I'm locked into that with somebody else determining when I can vacation, when I can take off, when I need to show up, when I need to go in, how much money I'm worth, what they're willing to pay me. And I just think that I can do better than that. I know that I can. And I believe in what I'm doing. So that's a little bit of my story.
Well, believing is definitely, that's key because you got to believe it. I mean, once you see it, then you have to believe, and you definitely will achieve it, and that's one of the things that I love about our entire community. Once you start surrounding yourself with like-minded people, your vision actually grows, and it reinstills your belief in yourself, and I can honestly say, being part of, the prosperity team and getting to the events, like when we were in DC, my first event was Denver, and that was back in July of 2013, and it was just, it's a different kind of event because most of the MLM companies, you go to the events and 9 times out of 10 they're trying to sell you something more, where our events are like nothing I've ever experienced before, nothing. And a lot of people have a misconception about leaders in companies. Well, maybe not in other companies, but in our company, for instance, you think, I know I did, you see people on Hangouts, you hear them on phone calls, you kind of put them on a pedestal, thinking that they are better than you or they're this. But when you get around them, you see these are just regular people just like you, And another thing that I love about it is that you get to be you. It doesn't matter what you wear, what your hair looks like, what color your hair is, just be you. And that's a part of attracting people to you. And that helps you to move towards your vision because you have to get like-minded people and surround yourself with them. This is one, we have a new, he's been at the job for, I want to say maybe about 3 months now. And I noticed, I was talking to him yesterday, he was by my desk and I was talking to him and I noticed that he has a hole in his ear, but he doesn't wear his earring. Now, I know the reason for that is because, these are typical old school people, companies been around for about 80 years, and they're still doing things like it's 80 years ago. So I know him being in the position that he's in, he knows that they won't accept him wearing that earring while he's sitting in one of those executive offices, Now me, I have a nose ring. I don't have it in right now because, I lost it during a facial, but that's a whole other story. But I do have a replacement and it will go back in my nose, because I'm me. That's who I am, and like the someone telling me how much time I can go on vacation, when I got to be back from vacation, what time I can go have lunch, how long I can take for lunch. That's not my ultimate goal at all. I don't want to, and at the same time, it's like you're a slave to corporate America, basically, because you go in, then they expect you to be chained to your desk, you can't move, you can't this, you can't that, they call, you're supposed to jump and, yes, massa. No, that's not me. I'm so far beyond that, and I know it's because, I have a different mindset. Once you have an entrepreneurial mindset, you pretty much are unemployable anywhere. And it doesn't matter what company you work for, the office politics are going to be the same, the drama is going to be the same. I don't need all of that, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life building someone else's empire. and then being upset and complaining when I'm doing all this work and not getting what I feel is the proper compensation for it. It's just not worth it. So I have decided I'm going to cut my own paycheck. And I hope you saw my post on my blog and you went in there and you printed out your check. I printed mine, I filled it out, and that's another goal. It's set in front of me. I have it put up at a place where if I turn over in my bed, I'm looking at it. If I turn the other way, I'm looking at it again. So I'm surrounding myself with it. Also in the process, as I told you before, of doing my vision board, and on a vision board, like some people say, well, what do you put on the vision board? Well, what's in your vision? If there's a particular kind of car you want to drive, print out a picture of it, put it on your vision board. You want to live in a Tudor style or split ranch or whatever kind of house it is you want, find a picture of it, print it out, put it on your vision board, and then keep your vision board in front of you. That's a way of always keep moving towards your vision. But at the same time, just cutting out pictures is not enough. You got to take action. You got to do whatever it takes to move towards that vision. People get involved in businesses and they think, okay, well, they're telling me in 90 days I'm going to make this amount of money, so I'm just going to get on here and I'm going to do this once a day, and then a few days later I'll do it again, then next week I'll do it again. That's not going to work. It has to be consistent work. So I like to tell people what you put in is what you're going to get out. So don't expect to have results that aren't typical of the average person if you are an average person. I personally, we have an income disclosure. Personally, I've never looked at it because I don't consider myself to be average. So I'm not interested in what the average person is making. I'm interested in being where the leaders are because they're lonely at the top. They need some company. You know what I mean? So, hey, I'm willing to join them. And I know that in this particular community, they are more than happy to welcome me. And you've experienced that too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have. I'm struck, though, by what you said about the slavery thing, because there is a quote from Harriet Tubman that I posted on one of my blogs, and the post, I don't know, pretty much everybody should know who Harriet Tubman was if they were in elementary school. And she was one of the people who's very important in getting the Underground Railroad going and helping to free slaves. Now, what happened is she made this quote that says, I set thousands of slaves free. I could have set thousands of more free if only they had known they were slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of struck me. I just think that is incredible. I like the idea of the vision board. And the other thing I think that is really important when it comes to really focusing and finding that vision is taking the time to really sit down and think about what it is that you want. As adults in our world, we so often just get, we get so tied up in what we're doing. We get so tied up in this is my life, going to work, paying my bills, taking care of the kids, my 1 week vacation, and we get into this routine, and I don't know at what point we stop dreaming. I don't know at what point we start, thinking that this is what it is and there's nothing better out there for us. And we tell our kids all the time oh, you can be whatever you want to be. I said it to my kids. My parents said it to me. Whatever you want to be, you can. Except my grandmother told me, you can't be an artist. You'll starve to death. But I still paint for fun. And, at some point in time, we have to look at ourselves and say, what kind of an example am I setting? Am I willing to go that extra mile to really get what I want? And then when I share that with somebody, when I have somebody like you to partner up with and encourage that in me, and I can encourage it in you, and pretty much the whole organization really encourages it in everybody. But to sit and spend time on what is it that I really, really want to do, and then making the steps to get there, writing it down with a clear, this is what I want, this is when I want it, and these are steps I'm going to do to get there. That gives you the C part of that vision. That believing part isn't something that you can really put on paper. That is more of an internal thing. That is the people you surround yourself with. That is the people who are willing to lift you up when you're feeling unmotivated or discouraged. And it's bound to happen. And so when you surround yourself with people who can believe in you when you can't believe in yourself, or until you can believe in yourself, actually, that's a lot of the way a lot of 12-step programs work. Let the people in the program work it until you can do it. Let them help you until you can help yourself. So let others believe in you until you can believe it. But you've got to have that little corn kernel of belief in order to get started before you can begin achieving. And that's, it's not necessary to know everything about everything when you get started. It is important to have a vision, to be able to see it, to have a direction, a plan, a goal, and to have the tools at your disposal to make it happen. But no person who ever achieved any amount of greatness or whatever their goal or dream in life, didn't know it all when they started. They learned as they went and shared their knowledge. And I think that's what I love so much about our company.
Definitely, definitely. I think it's so important too what you said about, the things that your mother said to you and your grandmother said to her. It's so much that you hear as a child, and that I think is part of the reason why people tend to get stuck. You hear, go to school and get good grades, go to college, get a degree so you can get a good job. Okay, we all heard that growing up, but I call that the 40-40-40 plan. You work for 40 years of your life for 40 hours a week, and then you retire on 40% when you can't even hardly live on the 100%. So I mean, I've even gone through I've asked people at my job, well, okay, well, if something happens here, the owner of the company is an elderly man. As I said, the company's been around for more than 80 years, and he's second generation. His father started the company. And I say to people, you see how the next generation interacts together, okay, and I'll just say it's not a good relationship, and you have to wonder, well, what's going to happen when the chairman of the company passes? Is the company still going to be around? What's going to happen? And I hear people say to me, well, hopefully they'll give us a severance package, and I kind of look at them give them like a Scooby-Doo, huh? Because what happens when, okay, even if they do, which they may not, okay, but what happens when that runs out? What are you going to do then? No one has a backup plan, and I think also part of that is because in my particular company that I work for at the moment is there's not a lot of turnover. So they have people there that have been there 20, 30, 40 years. So that's all they know. And they never had, a real vision of doing anything else because, like you said, everybody is so stuck in the daily routine. I get up at this hour, go to work until this hour, come home and I do this and then do that. And I get up tomorrow and I do the same thing all over again. I mean, I don't know, but I'm tired of the Groundhog Day, and I haven't really, jumped around. I'm not the type of person that every year or every 2 years I'm at a new job. I'm on my positions for a long time, but my problem is, I get to a point where I'm not challenged anymore. And initially, before I started learning, educating myself and growing, and to the point where I know that the answer is within me, I can't look to someone else to have my answer. I know now that, my mind is in a different place. So it doesn't matter. Okay, so this position that I'm at right now will certainly be the last position in corporate America for me, because my vision and the action that I take today is leading me to my goals, and my goal is not to work for someone else, and then along the way as well, people are afraid. They have the fear, but what does fear stand for? False evidence appearing real. It's like, I read a book, and I'm not sure if you've read it yet. It's called Every Day is Saturday by Sam Crowley. And he was actually on one of our Monday Night Power Hour calls. He was interviewed by Tracy Walker. And it was like, I mean, his book, I resonated with his book so much. And the reason he came up with the title was because one day his daughter, who he was seeing like very little, because he was opening the office, turning on the lights, and then closing the office, turning off the lights, and by the time he gets home, she's either in bed already or close to bed. And one day she just kept asking him, "Is today Saturday yet? Is today Saturday yet?" And he asked her, "Well, why are you always asking me that?" And she said, "Because Saturday's the only day we get to spend together." Now, being a single parent, I can relate to that, because I've been through, "Mommy, why do you have to go to work? Mommy, why can't you come to my play? Mommy, why can't you go on a trip with me?" And it's heartbreaking, but to know you have to go here to be able to provide for that child, it's like, it's just a tug of war. You know what I mean? Because they're tugging at your heartstrings, and they're like, "Oh my God, come on," but you got to go in here, and you got to work for somebody else, and it kills me, because they say, "Okay, you have X number of sick days," but then it's like they want to tell you when you can be sick. So like, it's never a good day. I used to work for an accountant one time, and I remember I called in sick one day. And when I got to work the next day, he's like, "Oh, Tina, it's tax season. We got a lot of work. That wasn't a good day." And I just looked at him and I said, "You know what, Alex? It's never going to be a good day for you. But I can't base my sickness around you." And at that point was like really when I knew, like, okay, this is really getting to a point where, first and foremost, I got to get away from this man, because this is about to really get serious. You know what I mean? And before I take it there, let me just walk away. But as I said, no matter where you are, it's going to be the same thing over and over and over. And the Groundhog Day way just is not it. I'm so tired. It's just like, okay, so what do I got to do? What do I got to do? Well, let me go and do it.
I love the Groundhog Day story. I spent 2 years in school in Punxsutawney.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
groundhog.
So we got a groundhog name. We got a groundhog with that name.
I think I am the only one who gets excited about Groundhog's Day, who really wants to go back. I'm with you on that 100%.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's just, and that, like I said, that's not going to change. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what company you work for, where the company is located, how many people it has. Because I've worked in a company with 5 people, me included, and I work for a company that's 200 people. But the more people you have, the more drama you have too.
This is true.
And yeah, and then on top of that, along with the drama, once people see, because when you really, really believe this is what you want to do, and you start making moves to do it, people notice. Because I mean, I used to think there weren't really a lot of people that were out there checking out my information, and then I started getting little comments from people that let me know, okay, they are watching, they are listening. But they just, the haters grow as well. Because they're afraid they won't take action to get to where they want to get, and they'll do whatever they can to kill your dreams, and you can't let it happen.
Mm-mm. I have to share this. I I think it's really important to understand that whenever you're starting something new, like stepping into something new, there's going to be people out there who are going to tell you that you're losing your mind. You'll never do it, and those I like to call the dream stealers, because they really steal the dream. And there's no reason for. I'm going to share this little starfish story with you. I love to encourage people, so you just have to put up with me.
Well, I want you to share it. I want you to share it. I welcome all inspiration from all around. So go ahead and lay it on me.
It comes on a little card with a starfish. Anyway, it says, as the old man walked the beach at dawn, he noticed a young man ahead of him picking up starfish and flinging them into the sea. Finally, catching up with the youth, he asked why he was doing this. The answer was that the stranded starfish would die if left until the morning sun. But the beach goes on for miles and there are millions of starfish, countered the other. How can your effort make any difference? The young man looked at the starfish in his hand, then threw it to the safety in the waves, and said, it makes a difference to this one.
All right. I
And
love
so
that.
I have this on my desk because the bottom line is I don't care how many starfish I throw into the sea. I want to throw a lot of starfish into the sea. There may be millions out there. I may not be able to help anybody, all of them, but I want to be able to help that one who wants it.
That's right. That's right. Because there are lots of people out there that want it, and they don't have the support around them. They have, as you said, the dreamer, the dream stealers. Because and that's important. One of the things I love that Tony Rush said. You're the average of your five closest friends. And I remember I think the first time I heard him say that was in Denver. And when I started thinking about it, for me, I was able to say, okay, not so bad. First of all, I keep a very small circle of people that I call friends, because everybody's not your friend. Okay, let's just be real about it. So I've always kept a small circle. Now, of course, since getting involved with Empower, my circle has grown. But initially it was small. And, for me, when I thought about that, I was like, okay, so that would be this person, that person. So I could say, okay, not so bad. But most people, when you think about that statement, I mean, when you really, really think about that statement, the five closest people are not positive people. They're not inspiring you. They're not trying to motivate you, because 9 times out of 10, those people don't have their own goals and dreams. So they don't want to see you achieve yours. And like you said, you'll have people telling you, oh, why are you wasting your time? Why are you doing that? That's a scam. This is this. But regardless, the bottom line is it all starts with you. Everybody wants to know, what's the secret? What's the secret? There's no secret. You're the secret.
Me.
You're the secret. Right. And the sooner people realize that, the easier it will be for them in moving towards their vision. Now that also is something that that's learned as well, because you don't just know that, and part of that is because of the environment that you're surrounded with. Until you start surrounding yourself, like you said, with like-minded people and positive people that'll uplift and believe in you, until you can, you'll never have that in your mind. So it's always someone trying to kill your dreams. Don't do that. Oh, you're throwing away money. And at the same time, they're telling you you're throwing away your money. Don't give it over there. Let me hold it over here. But what are they doing for you? Other than taking your money and putting it, doing whatever they want to do with it. So it's just very important to, if you're not now, to start paying attention to the people that you're surrounded with, and as you're around these people, just ask yourself, like, is this relationship really beneficial to me, and what am I getting out of this relationship? A lot of people don't do that, and as I said, they just stuck. They believe this is where I'm supposed to be, and it's not supposed to be any better, so why am I going to waste my time? And that is completely the wrong mindset. And like the starfish, you don't have to get all of them, but it just takes one. It just takes one.
And I'm reminded of that birds of a feather flock together.
Oh, no doubt.
And as you were talking, there's a lot of wisdom in that. Um, and as you were talking, I was also thinking about something that I learned. I don't remember if it was on a hangout or what, but actually, I think it was on another Tony Rush thing in the back office. And he was talking about the things that people say when we're growing up that we get ingrained to our thinking patterns. Like you may be admiring somebody who lives in a really nice house, and the comment is made, oh, well, not everyone who lives in a nice house has a happy life, or just because they have a nice house doesn't mean they're happy. Or you see somebody in a really, like, in a limo, a stretch limo or whatever, and they're like, well, money doesn't buy everything, or happiness, or blah blah blah. And no, it doesn't. Happiness comes from within. The dream comes from within. The purpose comes from within. But we're also programmed in a certain way as we're growing older. And changing that mindset, getting that shift in, and reprogramming to believe that you can do it, to see it, believe it, and achieve it. I just, there's something about that.
It's the
So
truth.
it is the truth.
The truth. That's what you believe about it. It's the truth, because it all begins with seeing it. You got to see it. You got to see it. And the more you see it and the more clear it becomes to you, the deeper the belief starts to be instilled. You know what I mean? And like you said, once you believe it, there's no doubt you can achieve it, and sometimes even once you believe, you still need some help along the way. And that's where it comes in surrounding yourself with the right people, listening and reading uplifting, positive things. My list of books that I've read over the past year, I've always been a reader. I've always been an avid reader, reading this book, that book. But the books that I read now are different. The books that I read now are personal development books for me, versus just reading about, the latest from James Patterson or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I love him. He's a fabulous author. I have a lot of his books too. But because my mindset is in a different place right now, I'm reading T. Harv Eker. I'm reading, people like that, Think and Grow Rich, Robert Kiyosaki, Napoleon Hill. Those are the types of things that I'm reading now. And of course, with the listening to our Inner Circle audios on a daily basis, it just keeps you going. And even when, like you mentioned, you've been having some moments these past couple of days of discouragement, and you could just pop in that inner audio circle and it will disappear. By the time you're done with that audio, that discouragement is gone. Especially depending on who it is, because some people resonate with you different than other people do. So you might be listening. For me, some of my favorites are Justin Ferengia, Tracy Walker. I love Tony Rush. Those are some of the people that I love listening to their Inner Circle calls. I just listened again the other day to a call. I think it was done in March of last year. That was done by Tracy and Nicole Cooper. And I've listened to that audio over and over and over and over, because in that particular audio, they're both talking about, where they were and where they are today, and the struggle that they went through to get to where they are today. Because one of the main things like that Nicole will say in there is, you see my glory, but you don't know my story. And that's typical, because most people do. They see the end result, but they don't know the struggle that you went through to get where you are. And your comment earlier about, people, I'm sorry, people, they don't realize that it takes, it takes time. Nobody who is, I don't care what company that you're in right now, whether it, your company have a diamond position, or, like our company has a Millionaires Club. Those people all started at the beginning, like everyone else, and it's a matter of what you believe in you and what you can do that will get you to the diamond or to the Millionaires Club or whatever the top rank in your company may be. It's not about, I'm going to get in today and next week I'm going to be a millionaire, because it just doesn't work that way.
That's really an important concept, because when there's a mentality that surrounds some people who have been in and out of the marketing arena, whether it be, a multi-level marketing company, or like direct sales and home, a candle company, or like a kitchen company like I work for, or jewelry, whatever it is. And you want to get in, and especially for people who are doing things online, they may be jumping from business to business to business, thinking that, oh, well, that didn't work, so I'll try this. Well, that didn't work, I'll try this. And not really sticking with it to see if it can work. This is not a lottery. This is not, I'm going to buy my ticket and in a week, I'm out of here. It doesn't work like that. It is persistence. It is determination. It is consistency. It is all of those things, taking time each day to get yourself in order before you approach your day, to feed your mind and your thoughts before you try to enter into the world of whatever's going to hit you today. But it is not a lottery. You can get into any business you want, but if you don't stick with it, you'll never know. Now, there are opportunities inside our company that I think exceed the way other companies are set up with our commission structure and our pay structure, which is not what I'm going to get into right now. That opportunity is, the depth of it is deeper the whole way down. It's more consistent and it doesn't deplete, I guess is a way to put it. But the bottom line is, if you're looking for a lottery, if you're looking for a get rich quick, you haven't spent time on a vision or a dream. And you have no idea where you're going because you're just thinking about the next pocket of green that you can stick your hand into. And that is not how this works. This does not work with another pocket of green. This is a consistent effort in personal growth, in personal commitment to make it happen, to work with it, and use the resources around you that are so abundant where we're at. Anyway, don't get me going.
Yeah, go, go, go. Listen, everything you said is definitely key. It's definitely key, without doubt. But it's a matter of, and it's hard. A lot of people, I think for people that have prior experience to the industry, because they have, because I know even me, you go through the, call everybody that make a list, call all your friends and your family, and then, get them on the phone, they'll do a three-way call, have a home party. I did all of that. That's not for me, and that's not to say it doesn't work, because a lot of people are building their businesses that way. But everybody has to find their own thing that works for them. I remember when I first came about the current company that we're a part of, I had just recently started doing something with promoting another nutrition and weight loss, and I tended to stay with that industry because I know that weight loss is usually the number one industry, because especially around the new year, everybody wants to lose weight for the new year. But again, like everybody who wants to lose weight and they set these New Year's resolutions, so to speak, and within 30 days, 90 days max, they get out because they don't stick with it. And it's the same thing with business. You can't expect, especially when you're new, that it's going to turn over overnight, but you have to make the commitment that you're going to stick with it until it gets you to where you want to be. Because I see the same thing. People jumping from this company, jump into that company, and it's really not the company that's the problem. It's your own level of commitment, and it's all a part of moving towards your vision. So I think this was great. It was so fabulous to be able to sit down and share with you, share with everyone else, I should say, the world, so to speak. Both of our ideas and thoughts on the foundation of freedom, because everything starts with the foundation. Everything.
Yes, it does.
Everything starts with the foundation. Listen, and I look forward to our next hangout together, and we'll get back to everyone and let them know when that will be. Send out the link to join us and watch that one as well. And that's pretty much all I have for tonight. You want to have say any closing thoughts?
Over and out.
Well, I guess that just about sums it up.
I've enjoyed the exchange, and I hope that everybody watching also got value of it. And you can feel free to get back to us. You have our information somewhere, or you wouldn't be here. And we look forward to hearing from you.
Definitely. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you again soon.
Night.
Night.